It is Diane with Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies, and this class for May or April, sorry, of 2021, I was asked to work with the Hydrangea Haven and Hydrangea Hill suite of products, and the hostess really fell in love with all the products and everything. So this first card is mainly highlighting the designer series paper, and I wanted to show it a little bit to you. This one is in the January to June 2021 mini catalog, and it will be good through the end of June while supplies last. The annual catalog is getting ready to come out, and some people have asked me if this paper is going away with that, and not yet. So you have through June for this one, and there's so many beautiful different designs in this. And I also wanted to show some ways of coloring with these stamps, because the stamp itself comes with some watercoloring background type images that you could actually stamp and then stamp over, or you could stamp and then stamp these watercolor type images over to be able to get kind of a really cool look. My one's examples here, I got them a little bit darker than I really wanted to. And this one is just the straight stamping on, and I didn't do anything else with it. But this one, I went ahead and used that detail die, because the bundle has these dies in it that do some details. And this one actually cuts little slits, I don't know what else to call them, little pieces that actually will come up and give it more of a 3D image. And so on this one, I actually went ahead and cut or stamped two of the hydrangeas and put one on top of the other. But for the class, I went ahead and let them do the stamping, and then I actually got a piece of vellum, and then I did asked them to do the die cutting on the vellum piece, and you can see those, I hope you can see those pieces, and then they actually were able to put it on top of this and then put their rhinestones on top of that. Also, I went back and looked at the example card that I was inspired by, and they had some of the little flowers that were placed around the label. And so I cut those out for them. I'm using some retired old olive ribbon that I had, but this is the Gorgeous Grape sheer ribbon that is current. And I was able to really make these kind of pop by using that outline cutout and then using dimensionals. So let's get started with what you will need. I do have the dimensions for all the products on my website at www.dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com. So you can always go over there, and I link my videos from there. So on this, I started with a card base. This is Highland Heather, and it's 5.5 by 8.5. I scored in half at 4.25, and then there's a piece to go on the inside. This is 5.25 by 4, and you can stamp that with sentiments and images as you wish. There's also a Gorgeous Grape cardstock that I cut 5.25 by 4 as well, and this is going to create a layer on the front. The designer series paper, I used the one that had the multi hydrangeas on one side and then the purple flowers on the other. And this one is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. we will be cutting this one and then taking the bottom piece and flipping it over. And then, as I said, I cut a couple of the flower images or dies from the dies that come with this or with the bundle, and they actually have, you probably can't even see them. They actually have some little embossed lines on those as well. This is just a scrap piece of white cardstock that these two, so that I can stamp the hydrangea and the sentiment and cut those out for our the front of our card, and then a piece of vellum in order to die cut that hydrangea piece. And this is, I forgot to write down the measurement. It's about 2¼ inches square, so that we could cut that part out. So I did go ahead and do some of this ahead of time so that it would save some time for putting this all together, because most of it is pretty straightforward. Look at these. Oops. So on the hydrangea stamp, it's really kind of big and large, and for those that have a hard time holding on to the larger blocks, it is a good time to use the Stamparatus, which is what I did when I was stamping these pieces. I just placed it on my Stamparatus, and then I just kind of did what I wasn't supposed to do. Anyway, I stamped it on here so that during the class, the people could put their scrap piece over it and be able to place the scrap where it was needed, and then they ink that up. You just have to make sure that you keep your magnets out of the way of where you're going to be stamping, because I found that that was what was keeping it from stamping for me. And then I just inked this up and stamped through there. So I just wanted to show that, because sometimes, especially if you with these larger detailed type stamps, you might miss an area, and the Stamparatus is a stamp positioning tool that really makes it easy to restamp in that area. So I wanted to really showcase not just that stamping, but also some of these watercolor pieces that really help with those people that don't feel adept at coloring things in. There are some other ways to get the colored image or watercolored image without actually having to use watercoloring. So let me get my things here. I am going to use the purple posy. I had already bought mine before the it was determined that it doesn't really hold up to the test of time, but I just wanted to use this as kind of an overall background to the back, and then I can kind of stamp over that. And I just wanted to bring in a little bit of the Seaside Spray. This is another one of the in colors along with the purple posy and the Pretty Peacock terracotta tile. There's another one. Cannot think right off the top of my head what it is, but they are retiring out of this catalog. And then I'm just taking some of this Seaside Spray and just kind of going around and stamping that around here too. Just kind of giving it a little bit of that look. And then I have Old Olive. And this is the part for the stem and the leaves. And for this one, it's going to be a little dark, so I think I'm going to stamp off and then stamp. Just want to kind of look over here a little. Now I should have had the Stampin' Pierce mat underneath this. It would have helped in being able to get a better image, but it still looks pretty good without that. But the photopolymer stamps don't have the cushion like the red rubber stamps, and so it is best if you could put a Stampin' Pierce mat underneath what you're stamping. So let me set these off to the side. And then I can put all this together. So as I said, the designer series paper piece, you decide which way you want it to look like it's going up the page. And to me, I noticed these stems and they look like they were going up. So I determined this to be the top and then this to be the bottom. And so what I did was I just turned this in landscape where the long side is across the top. And in my trimmer, I trimmed off 1 3/4 inches. And then I ended up with these pieces right here. And what I did with those is just adhere them to the Gorgeous Grape piece. This is the Stampin' Seal Plus. You have to be a little bit careful with it because it is very strong and permanent, and sometimes it actually will pick up and it can rip or roll the paper from the back side, especially with cardstocks that have been embossed. It has a tendency to pull up. I'm just warning people because it's happened to me a few times, so thought I would kind of give a little warning. But I do like it. It rolls fairly easily, and it also has little has little slices in it so that it makes it tear off a little easier and makes it roll easier for me. And so I'm just putting these together on here, creating that border. And then where these two come together is where I'm going to place this ribbon. So I just kind of get it lined up where I want it, flip it over, and then I just run some glue adhesive on the back for that. Then just going to put this piece into here. And then I grabbed the dimensionals and just kind of strategically put these around on the back side of the flower. Oh, those are really sticking today. sticking to me anyway. Some days I have more luck with the backings than others. And then this, I just want to kind of put off to the side because I want to leave a space for the label over here. So put that kind of here. And then what I would recommend is to kind of strategically place in the center of some of these flowers, maybe either some white glue, which I'm probably going to do because glue dot is actually trying to tear this up. Piece that folded over. Come on. It is when I try to do the videos that things kind of try to start happening like they're not supposed to. All right. So I'll get out the white glue and just kind of put a little bit on some of the flat spots. The Tombow multi-purpose glue dries clear. So just kind of put that down in there. I have a part that got torn off by the glue dot, so I will figure out how to fix that. The little knot, I just tied a knot in a piece of the Gorgeous Grape ribbon, and then I'm just using a glue dot that I fold back behind that, and then I put that here. And then I'm going to pop up the label as well. Don't stick it to your table though. Try to be so proactive and have things ready so that I could just get this put together, and I guess this is part of the paper crafting experience though. Things sometimes don't exactly go the way you had planned, and I forgot to grab those two little flowers. So I'm going to put a dot of multi-purpose glue there. Oops. It's a good thing with the multi-purpose glue, you can still kind of maneuver it a little bit because you don't really want that over your words. Put a little bit in the back of there. And then I think I'm just going to use, I'm going to use some rhinestones. You can use your take your pick tool or whatever you are used to using, or I really love the paper piercing tool. It's what I use for a long time. And I think here on the flower, I'm going to kind of camouflage that one area as well as add some, I'll turn it over. Oh, it's too close. One this way somewhere, maybe right there. So that kind of brings it together. See, there's many different options. You can do it directly on the flower and have those things pop up there, or you can even just leave it and just put some rhinestones on there, or you could even cut out some of the little flowers from the paper and put on there as well. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and that you'll check out my blog and be able to see what other projects we did for our May class. Thank you.